All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Your host, Raven here. Today we're gonna do the prison. Right there, the door says lower prison because you have to start off at the bottom. But the prison, I think it's three. I want to say 3 levels, and it's exciting. I really love the prison. I like the attention to detail, especially on the graphics. I'm not wearing anything to boost my ability to get rare items. It's all fighting because the enemies in the prison are pretty tough, and this is cruel level difficulty. This is the second stage of difficulty after normal. It's normal, then cruel, then I forgot, insane or something. But anyway, I love zombies. I love skeletons. I love like kicking ass in dank dungeon crazy places. Bam, that lightning spell. You also have to take a second to look and make sure you're paying attention to the enemy's resistance. Like this lightning spell, I really have to say, it really knocks the crap out of necromancers. When I first was playing the game and I was going through, necromancers were pretty tough. I mean, it depends. With the necromancers, depends on their position. As you can see, that one, he lasts a long time. What he does is he's bringing up the dead bodies around me. That puts a shield, like a meat shield, in front of him. So if I'm using a technique like the flamethrower or the incinerator spell, I can have some problems on my hands because he'll bring up so many guys, and I'm only killing off his minions. I'm not actually doing any damage to him. But with the ball lightning spell, it cuts through. It doesn't stop. It's not physical, so it passes through enemies. So it cuts through like his little hordes of raised dead bodies, and it goes right to him to knock the crap out of him. So it's super effective to quote Pokemon against necromancers. Yeah, I would have to say ball lightning is one of my favorite spells. Not just in this game. That's a pretty common spell in RPGs and beat 'em ups, those type games. I remember the first time I encountered ball lightning was when I played Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on PlayStation 2, and the elf, that was one of her moves, it was to send out the orb of lightning. And so far, every game I've encountered a spell that's similar to that, either exactly like it, like in Path of Exile, the spell is exactly the same. You just send out, an orb of lightning that, shocks the hell out of enemies it passes by. Alright, we've got a mini boss, but he can't stand up to Incinerator. I'm telling you, Incinerator, if you want something knocked out quick, incinerate it. I don't care what if it says, see, look this, Necromancer, put him down. Try to put him down. It's not good up close though. Flame is better up close. If you got a direct way to hit the Necromancer, it's better to use Flame or something else. But if you're in between him and a horde of his raised dead friends or dead allies, ball lightning kicks ass. So anyway, yeah, the path to Exile ball lightning is the same exact spell as in Baldur's Gate. I mean, it moves the same, almost looks the same, and it's super effective. So yeah, I have to say it's my favorite spell. Out of all the new spells I've found, the ball lightning and the Vol summon skeletons are the best. They're my favorites right now. Ice Nova, I like it because it's effective. When the enemies group around you, you can just, boom, boom, boom with the freezing wave or whatever and take them on out. So that's pretty cool, but it doesn't go beyond that. Like, number one, the enemies have to be close to you, so that kind of sucks. You don't want enemies close to you if you're not a melee person. If you're a melee person, yeah, then you want as many guys around you getting the crap kicked at them as possible, because you're bashing them over the head with your mace or your whatever, your sword or whatever. And a lot of the spells do group damage where it turns like a single strike into multiple strikes, or spread damage or something like that. So you're really knocking the crap out of all of them at once. But if you're a magic user, or maybe you're a thief or a rogue, a type that uses more dexterity than they do actual like physical might or physical power, yeah, you don't want the enemies close to you. So in a way, Ice Nova is cool because it hits all enemies whether they're close to you or not. And see, look at this. Look how many guys I have to kill because the Necromancer's hiding in the back. But once I get the right angle, he's gonna go down. And he can bring him up pretty fast, to his credit. Bam, there he goes. To his credit, he can bring up a lot of bodies really quickly. So anyway, the Ice Nova, enemies have to be close to you. So that kind of limits it, because it kind of, if you're using the Ice Nova, that means you're kind of at risk. You know what I'm saying? Because it could be a boss, it could be a lot of regular enemies, and that's just not a good situation unless you're a warrior, a close combat style guy. So anyway, pushing on, pushing on. Make sure you loot everything. Loot is important. One thing I've learned is that some items that have all three colors, both green, red, and blue, item slots or rune slots on the item, if you turn them in, even though they're not magical, they're just plain regular items, most of the time you'll see a chromatic orb. Sometimes you gotta turn in 2 items that have all the colors on them, and you'll get a chromatic orb. But it's worth it if you see something that has all 3 colors to pick it up. Bam, Ice Nova. See, it's not a slouch. But once again, you're at risk if you're using the Ice Nova, because that means that the enemies are pretty close to you. If they're close enough to hit with Ice Nova, they're pretty close. So, and there's nothing that doesn't put bad on the spell. It's just, you know, it means it can't be like the stellar spell you want it to be, because projectiles just kick ass. I mean, let's face it, even in fighting games, everybody wants to play with the guy who can shoot something or throw a Hadouken or some kind of spell. You can see there, I just put that staff in my inventory. It's gigantic. Usually I wouldn't pick nothing that big up, because it takes up a lot of inventory space. But because it has all 3 colored slots, it's worth it to pick it up, to bring it back for a chance to get a chromatic orb, which, you know, helps you gain other materials or whatever, or it helps you just improve items and weapons that you already own. When pushing forward, bam, skeletons. And Incinerator, I like it because even though, once again, like the Ice Nova, the enemies have to be close to you in order for you to use it. But the thing about Incinerator is it knocks things down so fast. It's just, you don't think twice about using it. Like, you can't wait to bust it out. Sometimes especially if an enemy's been like annoying, or I'm not in a good mood, I want to like really do some damage to something, I'll bust out that Incinerator real quick, burn them up. Bam. Ice Nova is also good for clearing up barrels and boxes and treasure, you know, like little destructible items that might contain goods or loot. Ice Nova is good for, like, you know, knocking all that crap out without you having to click on every one or, you know, touch every one. So that's another good thing about Ice Nova. But my favorites are Vol Lightning and Vol Summon Skeletons, which I'm gonna make sure y'all see some of that Vol Summon Skeletons before this video is over. In the beginning, sometimes I forget to use it. So anyway, here's our first waypoint. Always activate the waypoint. I mean, I would say 30% of the game is finding waypoints, because if you don't find the waypoint and something comes up, you have to cut the game off. Like, you got to go to work, or, you know, something, you have to give somebody calls you to say, hey, give me a ride, or, you know, they need some kind of aid, you know, whatever business you have that, you know, you have to cut the game off. If you haven't found the waypoint, that means you're going to be battling monsters over and over again. See, we got a chromatic orb. I don't know if it was directly from that one piece I picked up, but, you know, it doesn't matter as long as you get it, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, we're going to do this real quick. I'm not going to waste any time in this video at the town. I mean, I will have to make stops. As you can see there, I just had to open up the waypoint, and there will be a couple times when my inventory fills up, but each stop back at the town will be super brief, like that one. I'll just come in, sell off what I have, put up the stuff the money I made or whatever, and then I'll get right back to the action, because that's what I like to bring all my viewers, is ass kicking. I want, you know, people getting, you know, skeletons getting blown up, zombies getting blown up, necromancers getting set on fire, ghosts getting frozen, you know, giant lizards or giant birds being hit with lightning. That's what I want to bring my fans. I don't want to bring, you know, staying in the town, you know, talking or all sort of kind of stuff. We're going to explore this prison. We're going to knock dudes to freak out. So anyway, let's uncover this map and see. We've done the lower prison, which was pretty fast actually, but now we're in the upper prison. If you're playing Path of Exile, whenever you go deeper into a level, deeper into a dungeon or a cave, or you go above, like you go upstairs, like the next stairs or whatever, the enemies will get stronger. It's not a maybe, it's not a chance, they will be stronger, and you have to get your game up accordingly, because they will knock the crap out of you if you don't pay attention. So anyway, working at that fireball spell. I mean, I have my favorite spells, but I really only keep the ones on me that really kick some ass. Like, you know, the fireball spell knocks dudes out. You can see, I think these dudes, well, they're immune to elemental damage, so I had to put the incinerator on them. If dudes are a little bit tough, a little bit hardy, yeah, that incinerator will make sure they go down. But anyway, once again, whenever you go either deeper, like, you know, cave level 2 or cave level 3, whenever you go deeper or you go above a level that you entered, like if you go into a pyramid or something and it says, well, here's pyramid level 2, whenever you step up or step down, whatever, whenever you progress deeper into whatever dungeon you're in, the enemies will get stronger, and by a significant amount. It's not like they're just a little bit stronger, like they got a little bit more health. No, their abilities are better. They are stronger. So you don't want to get caught off guard. You want to make sure that you're actually meeting the challenge of the enemies. So anyway, trying out some more spells there. I like the flame bash spell. I wish that I had more practical uses, because most of the time, in Path to Exile, there is a lot of time for projectile attacks. You can see fireball, ball lightning, those type spells. Those are pretty effective. But sometimes the trap spells are pretty cool too. Like the lightning, the storm call ability, where I put the lightning marker on the ground, and the flame blast ability, they push that big circle of flame on the ground. And I like the flame blast because it grows insane. Like its AOE, its area of effect is so huge that it makes it really effective, because it makes up for its slowness, because it is slow. I like the storm call spell a little bit better because it's faster. And if I need more power, like if there's like a really tough enemy or whatever, all I have to do is just add more lightning markers to his location instead of having to resort to something else. So it's like, if the guy is really tough, just add a lot of lightning. If it's like a bunch of small guys, just dot lightning traps around or whatever. So here we go. Watch the power of the flame blast. Bam. And see, that was like, there was at least 5 enemies. I think 4 or 5 enemies right there. I could have caught all of them if they were just a little bit closer. But, oh well, all's well that ends well. Let's put the fire on these dudes, knock them out. Bam. Bam. And I really hate shielded enemies. That's why I like, another reason why I like Incinerator, because it burns off the shield with multiple hits. Oh, watch my health. Oh, crap. It burns off the shield with multiple hits. And it also takes dudes like down really quick if they're immune to elemental. So anyway, we leveled up some spells, and one spell I'm disappointed in that I don't think is so great, which you see me use every now and then. That's the firestorm spell, where you see the fireballs come down from the sky instead of from my hands, and it's powerful, but the problem is it's inaccurate. And that's one of my pet peeves when it comes to video games, is spells or guns, bows, like bows and arrows, guns, bows and arrows, spells, anything that isn't accurate, it really gets on my nerves, because it doesn't matter how powerful it is. What if it's powerful enough to kill a boss in one hit, but it's so inaccurate that you can't hit the boss? Well, then it's useless, because if you can't hit the guy you're aiming at, then it's useless. I mean, I don't care how cool the effect looks. I don't care how powerful the spell says it is. If it can't hit the guy, it's useless. And that's just what I go by. When every video game I play, whether it's an RPG or whether it's a first-person shooter, anything that has where accuracy is a major issue or a major thing, I want accuracy. I want guns that shoot straight. I want spells that shoot in a straight line, or they blow up a specified area. I don't want something that doesn't hit or misses. The only time I want inaccuracy is when I'm using a shotgun in a first-person shooter. And here we go with the fireball, the firestorm spell. As you can see, it hits a lot, but it didn't do what I needed to do, and I'm tired of low on health. So here we go, Vol summon skeletons, bam. And all the skeletons are doing all the work. The fireballs aren't doing that much. The skeletons kick ass, man. I can't tell you how much ass they kick. Well, I mean, you're looking at it, watching the video, you can see. The only thing is, I do wish they lasted longer, but the game would be too easy if they lasted. If those skeletons would last for 5 minutes, which my duration for the skeletons is, I think, 30 seconds, half a minute, I believe. Half a minute to a minute of skeleton time. If I could have 5 minutes of Vol summon skeletons, I mean, the game would be over. I mean, because every boss just summon the skeletons, and you can either completely hide and let the skeletons do everything, or you can. What I like to do is summon the skeletons and then start shooting myself as well. Bam! Alright, got the Necromancer and his little cronies. There's some skeletons trying to put in some damage, but it's too late for them. Bam, Fireball. Fireball is one of those spells where it's really cool, it's powerful as hell. It's unexpectedly powerful, actually. But it's just that it's not as fun to use as Incinerator or some of the ball lightning spells. And that's my problem with the Fireball. I like it, it's effective, that's why I keep it on my spell list, but when it comes down to it, it's not that, it's just not that dynamic, that exciting, in my personal opinion. I mean, there's probably people who play Path of Exile that they use nothing but the Fireball, and there's nothing wrong with that. The Fireball kicks ass, you know, it's just a matter of opinion and personal preference, style of gameplay. That's the only thing that, you know, really matters, is like your own, how you want to do it, what spells you like, what spells are effective. I don't imagine too many people liking spells that are ineffective, so if the spell's effective and you like it, use it. That's what I say. You can go through the whole game only using one spell if that's how you wanted to play it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I found it easier to mix them up a little bit because some guys rush in close, some guys are far away, and some guys, they cast spells or they have some kind of other irritating ability like temporary immunity, which I'll bring y'all some gameplay later on when I get to the crew. And I'm playing crew level difficulty right now, so when I get to a place that has those stupid ever living guys or whatever they're called, what are they called? Evangelists, arcane evangelists, or distorted evangelists, or something. There's something. I know the word evangelist is inside their name. They're undead, undying evangelists or something like that. But really they're just monsters that they cast like a shield around themselves that gives them invincibility temporarily. Man, watch all these skeletons bite the dust. Hell yeah. See, Flame Blast kicks ass. It's just not that many times you get a chance to use it because it's, the action is so fast paced. And most of the times the enemies rush up to you anyway. But anyway, those evangelist dudes, they're annoying as hell. They cast a shield that makes them immune to damage, and it lasts a long time too. Like, you have to literally wait a while. Like, there's a bunch of them in a room. It's better to just wait a minute or two to see their pattern, like whose shield is coming up, whose shield is going down, and basically kick in the door. If there's 3 evangelists in a room and 2 of them are shielded and one of them isn't, just wait. Because when the two that are shielded, when their shield runs out and then the other guy gets his shield, that's when you kick in the door, because the 2 guys who are unshielded you can kill, and 1 shielded guy is a lot easier to deal with than 2 shielded guys. That's just common sense. So I'll bring y'all some of that footage, me whooping their asses. They're really hard, they're really annoying. I'm curious to see what extra abilities or how even more annoying or irritating they are on this new level of difficulty. And so that's something to look forward to. That's why I like Path of Exile. The enemies keep it fresh. In my last video, I had some people comment that they don't like it to get harder. And I understand that, because sometimes there's a couple of games, just leveled up a spell there, bam. There's a couple of games where I kind of wish that the difficulty would kind of crank down a little bit. And not because it's so hard, it's because it's annoying. 2 cases in point. One is Skyrim. I bought Skyrim recently for a PC. Evolve Summon Skeletons. Whenever time I see that boss, if there's a boss or some kind of butthole giving me trouble, summon the skeleton. See, they knock his ass out, man. So anyway, Necromancer in the door, gotta put the fire on his ass. Boom. And these skeletons aren't going either. Oh, look at this. I should have let those 2 skeletons whoop that other one down, but I'm too, like, I'm trigger happy. I'm a trigger happy player. I like to shoot. I like to blow stuff up. I like to be personally responsible for destroying enemies or enemy structures, that type of stuff. So even though I do have Evolve Summon Skeletons, I still like to put in my own elbow grease. But anyway, back to what I was saying earlier. Skyrim, I bought it for PC. I bought all the DLC. I got the Dawn Guard. I have the Dragonborn. I have Heartfire DLC, and it's all amazing. But the thing is, well, I'll explain it while we go through the skill tree. Bam, Elemental Dominion, which gives me 20% increased elemental. I've been waiting on that. The witches area, which I've just broken into with this Elemental Dominion and the line you see of lit icons. Like, I just broke into her realm of the skill tree board, and it kicks ass. It's very geared towards people who use magic. So I'm a little bit when the time I made this video, I was kind of confused as which route I would take. As you can see, that's why I'm kind of looking down at each one. Those where I want to get to, the spell damage ones, and that Lord of the Dead. I want to get all of them really, but it's just you only get 1 skill point at a time, and you either get the skill point from completing a quest or through leveling up. So it's not like they hand them out like candy. So it takes a while, and the skill tree is immense. But anyway, Skyrim is like with the Dawn Guard DLC. It's like vampires attack all the time. Like you can't. Like I go to a town and I want to buy, arrows. I want to sell off some armor or something like that. I fast travel to a place, and then what do I get when I get there? A master vampire and 2 vampire helpers trying to fight me. Most of the time, though, I can just run or beat down one of them or something, and then the city guard plus the citizens plus my companions. I usually keep a companion with me at all times. Mostly it's Janassa, the dark elf chick that stays in the huntsman in Whiterun. But it's kind of annoying though, to like you're traveling to, without the Dawn Guard DLC, you don't get attacked in towns. Like the only time you have to fight in a town is you start a fight or it's a quest or something like that. But it's just not gonna like a random spawn of enemies to assault you, upon your arrival on the town. So in a way, I kind of think that's kind of lame, because lately with the Dawn Guard and the Dragonborn DLC, everywhere I go, like I would say 3 out of 5 times, well, no, I'll say 8 out of 10 times when I fast travel. No, 2 out of 10 times when I fast travel now, there's a dragon or there's a vampire, a master vampire and his helpers waiting for me in the new town to fight me. And that can be kind of annoying, especially if you're geared down with gear, because a lot of times I've just come from looting a cave or something, and I'm at my weight capacity. I drink one of those strength potions so I can fast travel real quick, because I'm hoping just to carry all this crap to a town, get rid of it, and without having to sacrifice or leave anything behind. So you fast travel and you're loaded down with gear. The potion only lasts for 30 seconds, so once you fast travel, obviously the potion is worn out. Then, the master vampire and these other people will help try to fight you. It's like you can barely even move. So that can be kind of annoying. Also, with a game I'm playing called Far Cry 3 actually, which I like the graphics. I haven't enjoyed looking at a game that much since Black for the PlayStation 2. And I'm getting a lot of arrows. Look at that bleeding damage. But the thing with Far Cry is like if you're not on the mission, like whatever mission they want you to go do next, if you're just like trying to free roam through the world or whatever, which is really cool to do, it's like enemies spawn constantly. Like every 20 feet, a tiger jumps out, a leopard jumps out, a dragon jumps out, or a pirate guy is waiting or something. It's like, well, come on. Like in real life, tigers aren't social animals. Usually a tiger will stake out a territory of its own, and he'll have like a certain range in that territory, and it doesn't allow other tigers to hunt in that range. you know, because that's taking away food out of its own mouth. So in real life, that doesn't happen. But in Far Cry, there'll be 3 tigers in a 50-foot area. So it's like, well, 3 tigers? Like, come on, you know? I mean, you can't, it's almost, sometimes it feels like you can't do anything, but, you know, without the enemy spawning so much. So anyway, leveled up some spells, knock those dudes out. And we want to make sure we're hitting up every part of the prison. You never want to, you know, leave anything up behind or undone. So I'm drinking some quick potions over there when you see me get that speed boost. And we got the warden's quarters. So this is the 3rd part of the prison, and probably the final part if I'm not mistaken, because no, there's a little bit of fighting here, and then we have to fight the warden boss. Oh wait, no, there's no fighting in this area. This is just like the abandoned part of the prison, where after that chick cast that spell on the guy who runs the place, or whatever, turn him into a monster. So the upper level where the warden lives, you can see there's a dead body on the ground, which I just casually stomped over. We got some. So here's Piety, which is an annoying lady, and she's also a boss, one of the main antagonists of the game. So let's see what she has to say.
Make sure you tell our clients.
And basically, she just comes out to talk some crap. She comes out to say, "Oh well, when the warden gets finished with you, ha ha ha, you know, blah 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 blah. He's gonna tear you up so bad, I won't even get a chance to beat on you or whatever." As you can see, I'm not taking any chances. I'm putting that totem out first, because the warden is a melee boss, and depending on what path you take, the warden is like the first serious boss you will encounter in Path of Exile. Merveil being the second. Merveil is like the mermaid boss chick or whatever, but you don't have to fight her. It's actually optional to fight her, but I recommend doing it because it'll give you experience, you'll get levels up, you'll get rewards for defeating her. Plus the fight is fun, and if you're strong enough, you can go back and loot her, you know. My recipe for looting is I go through an area with regular strength or power, depending on how powerful. If the area is weak, I'll just put on, you know, looting items right away, you know, items that increase the chance of me getting rare stuff. I put that on immediately and sacrifice power if the area is weak. If the area is strong, I go through first, you know, geared up, you know, ready to whoop ass, and I whoop ass first, and then I'll come back after I've known I've, you know, gained significantly in strength or whatever. Then I'll come back and I'll wear the stuff that gives me rare item boost, and then I'll loot the place. So anyway, Merveil's optional, but she's good for looting, good for experience, and here is the warden. And he's physical, so make sure you have that healing totem. And that string he throws out, it really kicks ass. Like, it brings you over to him. It's kind of like Scorpion's spear, you know, says, you know, basically he just says get over here, and he brings you over there. So, and I'm not a melee fighter, so being next to the warden is like not a good position for me. So as you can see, my tactics as a healer, especially when I'm dealing with bosses, is guerrilla tactics and ball summon skeletons. You can see they made short work of the warden. And this is cool level difficulty. This isn't just me, you know, I'm making it look easy because I want that effect. I want to bring y'all, you know, awesome gameplay. You know, you don't want to see somebody constantly getting their ass kicked, constantly losing, constantly gaming over, having to start over at the town, all that kind of crap. Y'all want to see people who know what they're doing. So I'm making the warden look easy, you know, especially by summoning the Vol skeleton summons was probably a little bit of overkill. Now that I'm, you know, narrating the video, it's probably a little bit of overkill, but it's better to be safe than sorry, if you catch my meaning. So anyway, we got some good loot, and once again, as I stated earlier, all looting parts of this video will be pretty brief because, you know, I mean, it's just not fun to watch somebody like loot items or whatever. So anyway, you have to read each one, see what you can take, what you can't take, what you want to take first. And also, one tip: be very careful when you use a scroll to come back to the town. Be careful and make sure you don't accidentally step back into your own portal, because that'll waste your portal scroll. Make sure you click away from the scroll. So anyway, we talked to Nessa. She has something to say. And if you look underneath my items, you see all those gems with the plus sign above them. They're ready to level up. So I gotta make sure I hit that up soon. So anyway, make sure you sell everything. Check out your rewards. You pretty much get the same crap for the same stuff. So there's not a lot of thought process that has to go into the loot exchange. I mean, plain items will give you scraps to help you identify stuff. Magic items will give you shards alteration or a thing of alteration. And identified items will give you unidentified magic items will give you shards of transmutation. Identified regular items, unidentified items will give you shards of, you know, alteration or whatever. So it's a pretty simple looting pattern. You know, basically just gather all the stuff you want, leave all the plain crap behind. And I almost took the waypoint back instead of my own portal, which would have sucked because I had to start over at the beginning of the prison and come back up. So my looting thing, my tips for looting: pick up all purple stuff, and depending on your needs, either identify it or leave it unidentified. Pick up all yellow or legendary items. You know, obviously, I mean, what person wouldn't pick up a legendary item? You know, I mean, that's part of the reason why you're fighting, is to get, you know, really cool gear or whatever. So pick up all legendary things. Pick up all magic things that are, you know, they're purple. When it comes to plain items, my rule is if it's really small, like a ring or a flask or a belt, you know, something only takes up 1 to 2 spaces of inventory space, I'll grab it, because that stuff adds up to help you get identification scrolls or scrolls of wisdom. If it's bigger than that, I don't want it, unless it has all 3 colors slotted against it. So we made it through. Let's pass through. And this completes the quest. So you can see now it says talk to Tarkley for your reward. So you want to make sure after you beat the boss you actually progress. And here's a new waypoint. Bam! Always want to make sure you got that covered. So now we're going to turn in our mission to Tarkley here after I sell off all this crap. Which I didn't get much that time. You know, there'll be crappy hauls. There's good hauls and there's crappy hauls. But most of the time I count it good is if I can like significantly add to something. Like, you know, like right there I just created another scroll of wisdom. I also was able to get an orb of transmutation out of the shards that I traded for. So let's talk to Tarkley. See what he got to say. The warden's finally free of his own prison. Well, since you're so good determined to cheat the britches off death, you better have this. And when I write something about you, just be sure to mention it was Tarkley who taught you everything you know. Yeah, right. So anyway, sometimes when you turn in a quest, you get 2 options. Well, there'll be 3 options. Either A, they'll give you either skill points or the ability to change your skill points. B, they'll give you the chance to look at new magic spells, which is what I'm doing now. Or C, which is, to me, is the worst outcome. The worst outcome is when they give you a chance to get loot. And it's something like a belt or a flask or a piece of armor, like a shirt or some pants or something. And the things that they're offering you, yeah, they're magical or whatever, but they're not really better than what you could make yourself. In this game, I highly recommend making your own items and weapons, looking for things that suit your needs specifically and improving them. Not hoping to find something off a boss or... I mean, every now and then you will find something from a boss or a defeated enemy that's better than what you're wearing. But 9 times out of 10, if you really want the good loot, you need to find something that matches your needs, that's stronger than what you're already wearing. And if it needs work, like it needs item slots, or it needs different colored slots, or it needs, you know, different attributes or whatever, use the looting that you've been looting, like all the looting you've been doing, and getting the orbs of transmutation, the orbs of augmentation. Use those to improve your gear. So anyway, we've arrived at the end of the video. And I think I'm going to go with this spell. I'm going to go with Discipline because it adds energy shield to me and my allies. And I do play this with my sister sometimes. And that would be a cool boost to her to be able to put an extra shield on her. So I'll choose Discipline. But anyway, Path to Exile is free on Steam. It doesn't take a gigantic, super powerful PC to play. It's an awesome game. It's straightforward with ass-kicking action. All you do is just get spells or weapons and beat the crap out of enemies. I'm your host, The Raven. I appreciate y'all watching. Stay tuned for more Path of Exile and other videos where it's just action and ass-kicking. Thank y'all for watching and have a good day. That's all I can say. Enjoy Path of Exile.